Okay, so what we have here today is a classic 1897 Winchester shotgun. This is one of my shotguns I use for cowboy action shooting. It's got some problems with the wood. Most of the blue is gone on the receiver and the barrel. You can see it's pretty well gone. The wood is in not too good a shape, so we're going to fix that up. It's not a collector's gun by any stretch, although it has had some nice modifications done inside to speed it up. So what we're going to do today is some surprisingly easy things to do that you can do right in your own home with your own guns. And we'll show you those next. Now what we've done is break the gun apart to its individual components. We'll go ahead and set the wood aside for now, and we'll get to that later. We're going to concentrate on these metal parts right now, especially the barrel and the receiver. This already had some polishing done on it at a previous date, so we're actually not going to work on that at all. The things you'll need to do this are just a Dremel tool, normal Dremel, tip that has a screw that screws down into it, rather than the other type that has a screw coming out, and you screw the felt tip onto it. You really want to have the one that screws down through the felt tip and into the Dremel tip. That will give you a nice solid fit. You're also going to need some Mother's Mag and aluminum polish or similar. Quite a few people make different things that will work. This one seems to work the best for me. Dremel 414 pack of those tips. Go through them quite a bit. Probably go through 2 or 3 on this project. These are some of the ones I've already gone through. Okay, so what we're going to do is start on this receiver. I'll take a little bit of Mother's on my finger. Just rub it on that face right there. And take the Dremel, start it up to about 3/4 speed. And you're just going to polish. And you want to make sure that you don't get the tool into any of your work surface. So you're just going to go back and forth until your Mother's actually starts to evaporate, and it'll get soaked up onto the wheel itself. And we're just going to go back and forth and polish that like so, until we start seeing the underlying metal surface. And what we'll do is, you can see what I've done is just, in about 20 seconds or so, we've already polished that little area right there. And so we're going to continue on this whole piece and on the rest of the pieces, and then you can see what it looks like afterwards. Okay, this will give you an idea of what I'm talking about. I've polished on this thing for about half an hour or so. This is probably more or less where I'm going to go. You can see some defects in the metal. Of course, the gun's pretty old, so that's what you'd expect. But overall, what we're looking for is a nice shiny effect. Of course, it's harder to keep fingerprints off of it, but the thing definitely looks a heck of a lot better. So we will continue polishing the other things and see how the whole thing looks. You may remember we put the wood aside for working on later. I'm going to go ahead and work on that now. We did some wet sanding on it. Wood looks pretty good. We could go out and buy new furniture for this, but really it's beautiful wood. You just got to get the gunk of the decades off of it, and then we'll go ahead and put on some Minwax in the poly shades. It's the stain and polyurethane in one step, and we'll probably put at least 4 or 5 coats on there so it's nice and shiny. and gives it a good color. It's going to be in pecan. Two reasons: I like that color, and also I happen to have it on the shelf, so that's what we're going to use. We'll get that going and set it aside to dry while we do some more polishing on the barrel. Okay, as you can see on the barrel, we're getting a lot closer. Not quite as shiny yet as the receiver, but getting close. Found a few little nicks and gouges and scratches on the barrel. Of course, when you start polishing it, you'll find those things. One other thing, we didn't have a lot of bluing left on this gun, but even so, we probably should have started with a blue removal. This is acid stuff that you wipe onto the barrel, leave it for a couple of minutes, and then wash it off with water. That will save a lot of time on polishing, because if you have to polish the blue off, then you really got a couple of steps. You're taking the blue off and you're polishing the metal that's underneath, so it's easier just to go ahead and get rid of the blue to start with. Always use your goggles on this, because it can throw stuff in your eyes, so make sure you're safe when you're doing this stuff. And also, if you're using blue removal acid, you don't want to breathe that stuff either. Still waiting for the first coat on the wood to dry. We're out of Dremel pads, so we're going to go get some more of those and run a little bit more polishing on the barrel while we're waiting to put the second coat on the wood. Okay, so the barrel is now done completely. You can see it is very shiny, almost to a mirror type finish. That real good shine is the final product of steel wool along with the mothers, and then wipe it off with a rag. We've got 2 coats on the wood. Now we'll leave that to dry overnight and put a few more coats on tomorrow. Here we are with the magazine tube. We're going to go ahead and use some of the blue remover, like I was talking about, on this tube before we polish it. So we get some of the blue remover on a cotton ball and just rub it right straight onto the tube. You're going to leave it sit for a couple minutes or so and let it remove that blue. You can see it doesn't take much to get the blue off there. That tube's now ready for polishing. Okay, that's literally 10 minutes of polishing with the steel wool and mothers. You can see we're already getting to be pretty good shine. This other side, nothing's been done on it yet. That's how easy it is. So what we end up with after all of our work is a gun that looks like this. The stock has about 4 coats on it. Could use maybe another one. The woods, we really didn't do a whole lot to it. We could have taken it down a lot more and gotten some of that, gotten some of those scratches out and so forth, but I like to leave that character in. It took a long time for this gun to collect that. Gun itself looks very shiny. Doesn't shoot any better, but it certainly looks better while it's shooting. Again, we used steel wool, super fine steel wool, the 0000 fine steel wool, Dremel 414, buffing pads, mothers, mag and aluminum polish, and Minwax poly shades, although just about anything will work. And that's your your cheap and quick facelift for one of John Browning's masterpieces, the 1897 Winchester.